Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining our webinar today on goals and performance. My name is Tanya Bakalov. I'm the CEO and founder of Hello Team. I will begin shortly because we have 30 minutes to go through everything and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So the first thing that we're going to cover today is what are some of we're going to do a brief presentation on what considerations do we need to make as we're thinking about launching a new performance management program or improving or tweaking the existing one that we may already have in place. So whether the company has grown to a point where something more formal is needed, or we need more of a transparent way to manage MBOs or OKRs, or you want to provide more of a frequent and actionable feedback to your employees, we'll go over some of the finer points that you need to think through as you launch this. This should take us 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will jump into a live demo of Hello Team's goals and performance management capabilities. We're most likely not going to have time for Q&A. That's why I would like people to just send their questions to team@helloteam.com. We'll be following up throughout the next few days. The team will follow up and answer your specific questions. And if you want to dig deeper into certain capabilities of the platform, we're more than happy to do that as well. So with that being said, and I think we have a pretty good amount of people that have already joined, so I am going to begin the presentation. So let's go over just kind of the basics for performance review. Different organizations use different ways to measure performance. Some people use achieved objectives or MBOs. Some organizations use competencies or ratings of skills or knowledge or job description. Some companies tie this to a culture fit based on company values, and a lot of them use a combination of both because and weigh them a little bit differently because they want to make sure that just because somebody is doing a great job and is competent at their job, that they also are fitting with the company values that they have established to drive that performance. In either way, upfront communication, in my mind, is key for success because nobody likes surprises, and especially when that is connected to pay, even less. And then the other thing we need to consider is also what types of feedback do we want to provide to our employees? Is it going to be? Do we have a way to capture informal feedback in a place of record? Do we have a way to do one-on-one meetings or more formal evaluations? Are we going to do a 360 performance review or with peers? Is it going to include a self-assessment or just a manager and employee based? And in either case, your performance platform should facilitate all of those and not put you in a cookie cutter type situation. So the way that we look at modern performance, ways to do modern performance reviews from the standpoint of HR is we want a performance platform that one is easy to administer, it's flexible to fit your organization's way of doing business, has a way to kind of share some of the responsibilities with management. So we as HR people are not the only ones kind of driving those questions and answers and evaluation, but they have to be active participants in that if we want to drive performance as a whole, as a company, and not just coming from one place. And lastly, I think it shouldn't be done in a way to impose a big burden on your employees. We don't want people to be spending 2-3 days out of the whole week trying to fill out these extensive performance reviews and try to remember what happened 9 months ago for me to be able to give my honest feedback to this person. And with that said, the ability to kind of do quick performance check-ins throughout the year in a more of a light way to complement your annual strategy or your semi-annual strategy is also very important to stay nimble and flexible in your organization. So if you kind of look at some of the things that I've listed here, it's great to have best practice questions that with a set of answers as well. But I think you should also not be locked into these predefined questions and answers. You should have the ability to do your own custom questions type and match them up with your own set of answers as well, whether they're a rating-based question or a sliding scale or multiple choice. You should have a combination of all of those and do this. You should have the ability to collaborate, as I mentioned, with your management team, so they can also have input on the type of questions that we're going to have people be evaluated on. And one size should not fit all. And what I mean by that is that depending on the job position or the role, the templates should be different. Technical roles may be more focused on skills types questions or competencies, where project-based roles should be maybe more focused on the ability to finish this project on time. Customer service roles are completely different, as they may have to do with how customers perceive us. So we should not just have the same type of 10 questions go out to everybody. Another thing when I say that employees should not be spending 2-3 days filling out those extensive evaluation forms. At the same time, HR leaders, we also don't want to spend a ton of cycle kind of managing, administrating, sending questions to people, collecting this feedback, then we have to analyze it. It's a lot of work to be doing this every cycle, no matter what cycle we choose. So having a way to kind of set up recurring reviews where they automatically go out and the feedback gets collected, have a easy way for employees to know that they have to complete something with automatic reminders, whether it's in their email or their Slack or their intranet. It should be very, very easy. We should not be kind of herding cats and asking people why they haven't done something, because it's right there for them to do. At the same time, if we move over once, so let's say we've launched our program, we've sent our evaluations form. Now we're kind of gathering that feedback and how we're going to present it to the managers, to employees, to the executive team, so we can see the performance of the company and what we should tweak for next time and what feedback we should give to our employees. We need to be able to have a way to share those results with the specific employees that we want or the specific management, and have an overall kind of view of the company and who's doing how. We should be able to see changes of performance over time. So I am not kind of doing the math myself again and saying, okay, this person did great or didn't do so well on communication. We had a conversation about it, and here we go again. We're asking the same type questions, and they keep slipping. Why? Let me dig in and see whether the manager actually had an honest conversation with that person, or why is he not or she is not improving along the way. We should be able to quickly pinpoint high and low performers as well, and discuss with management and executive management. We should see that visually and be able to make a determination. We should have a way to, if we want to look at more in-depth numbers, have a way to export that information in Excel or send it in a PDF to somebody. It's great if you also have HRIS data next to this, so you can see who are the people that should be promoted, but who are also the people that are at risk of leaving. Because maybe they've been doing so well, every single performance review comes back stellar, but we have not promoted them in the past 1 year. And maybe they're looking for that bump in title and we haven't given them one, so they may be at risk of leaving. So having that kind of tenure baked into the conversation is very important as well. And I think also looking at kind of the engagement of people, who's recognizing who, why are they being recognized in the company, how are they perceived in the eyes of everybody? Are they an engaged employee? Because again, you could be amazing at the competency that you do, but it only takes like one bad apple with bad attitude to kind of ruin it for everybody. And, it may not be worth it at that time. And just quickly on goals, I'm sure everybody has heard all of the different methodologies, kind of tying the performance together with transparent goals throughout the organization, so people know, are they being measured or paid based on NBOs or KPIs, SMART goals, OKRs, where are we tracking all of this? Again, the ability of a manager to remember things that are happening 9 months ago if they're doing an annual review is, it starts slipping. So having a central place where we record all of that and we can look at it holistically and make that determination is very key. And then just a final slide before I jump into the live demo. Hello Team is an all-in-one people success platform for the modern workforce. We concentrate kind of on the 5 pillars of engagement and talent management. Today, we're going to be spending our time in goals and performance management, but there's a lot of other areas that we include in the product, such as and ways to drive retention, such as engagement with our high five functionality, peer-to-peer recognition, badges, ways to do surveys and stay on top of the morale of the company and things that we should improve from that perspective, to HRIS, people analytics, to social intranet, and many other cool things that we have. And our belief is that companies, organizations should try to use one tool to attack those problems and not, have one system for performance, one system for engagement, another system for retention. It gets confusing for employees, as well as you're spending a lot of time managing, administering, and also maybe in some cases paying double or triple the cost. So with that being said, I am going to jump into the live demo for today. Let me just refresh my screen to make sure that I'm logged in appropriately. Hopefully everybody can also see my screen. So today I am logging in as Ariana, who in this case is a Chief People Officer. So I'll be switching, and when I talk about her, I'll be sometimes talking about her as an employee of the company, so you can see how she does a performance review, and sometimes I'll be talking about her as somebody that manages the performance review program for the company. So with that being said, what you see on our screen is our dashboard, or our social intranet capability. Again, we're not going to be going in depth throughout this, just it's a one-stop shop where people can get information about the company, new employees, birthdays, any kind of milestone that we're celebrating, give each other high fives for success. But this is also the place where we will be doing our performance reviews. So if I am an employee, such as Ariana, if I have 1 or 5 performance reviews to accomplish, they will show up here in my dashboard. Or I'll have a notification. Again, you may send it through Slack or some other channel. You can take this on your phone if you'd like to. There'll be many different kinds of reminders that you can set up for the employees to make sure that they do it. So if I have to do my performance review, and in a little bit we'll go over how we actually got to this point and set this up for Ariana to take this, all I have to do is, again, whether it's on my phone or by email, I can come in, depending on the different types of questions that I've set up, I can do this, etc. And when I'm ready, I just hit the submit button, and we will analyze that information, which you will see in a little bit with what we've set up here. So with that, let me show you how to do this. So now I'm Ariana, who is managing and sending her first performance review out. So she can go to the admin section of the platform, And you can see I've set up just a bunch of different templates to showcase, again, our belief that you don't have to be sending the same type of questions and the same type of templates to the whole company. You can have a performance review type for human resources, for product development. If it can be a 360 performance review, it could be, it's how you name it and how you create it. So if I want to collaborate with a different manager, what I can do is I can say, hey, I want to share this evaluation form with an employee, let's say Aaron. And now Aaron, I can give him the ability to edit the template that I've set up. He can delete it. He can send me comments back. He can view the results afterwards if I've given him the permission for everybody that receives this particular template. So I don't have to take the burden of just myself coming up with the questions, etc. So you can use a bank of questions or templates that you like. You can, such as the one that I showed you a little bit from Ariana, or you can completely create your own. So let's say I want to do the Q4 review. I can say something like, please share your overall experience, or for this employee, let's say. And I can say, I want this to be an open-ended question. Then I can save this question, move over to the next question. Let's say I would like to do, how would you rate this employee on the company value, let's say win as a team. I just came up with that. And I can choose a scale type question. So I have the ability to say, hey, maybe it's a employee net promoter score type question, or give me from 1 to 5. I say needs improvement, or he's fantastic. I can come up with any type of names that I like. I save that, or I can do a question like, please rate this employee on technical competency. And I decide this to be a star rating question. And I can say, again, needs improvement, or I can say amazing, let's say. Again, I can come up with my own and save that as a template, and then decide to share it with somebody. So I just set this up. This is mine. I can share the evaluation period, or I can set a review period. I can decide that this is a one-time review that I want to do, or this is a recurring review that I wanted to repeat, maybe quarterly or semi-annually. And the system will kind of automatically calculate all of this when it's supposed to be sent and send it. I can say, you have 1 week, or you have 2 weeks to complete this, or the performance evaluation will close, and the system will start hunting you if you have not completed your evaluation. So I'm set up, I'm scheduled, and I can then choose to send it to whoever I'd like to and begin collecting responses. So the way that you will see the collected responses are here. So you will see the name that you gave to the performance review, the people that have taken it, how many reviewers. So let's say, Aaron, we had 4 people that completed the evaluation for Aaron. Everybody's completed it. Let me take a look at his results. I come in here. Now, again, instead of you having to calculate manually the results, you can actually see them calculated already from the system. So based on the 4 people, which included a self-evaluation of Aaron, his manager, and a couple of other people, he is 3.5 in core technical competency, 325, 425, etc. I can go down, look at his greatest accomplishments in this case, because that's the question we asked, or what recommendations people have for this employee. How likely are you to recommend the employee for another project, for this project, etc. I can also look as the manager into who said what. I can see how Alex thought about himself in this particular case. Well, he was pretty honest because he gave himself a 3. Or I can take a look at how his manager thought about him and see if there's any discrepancies, and take a look into that. Now, another point is if, because Alex is a new employee, so he's only had 1 review in the company, but let's say those questions, we send them last quarter or last 6 months, whatever period we decided, whatever cycle that we're on, I can come back here and actually find, I know Ryan has gone through the performance review a couple of times. I can come in and see how did Ryan do the last 2 times that he had a performance review. And I can spot if there's any issues in his or her performance if we're looking at somebody else. Some cases he improved, some cases he did not improve. I can read the comments, but I have a visual way of kind of spotting that and bringing it to my attention. So if we go back to the manage reviews, another thing that I wanted to share, there's different other administrative things that you can do. And if you decide to have that information shown for Ryan or anybody else, you can go into their profile and take a look at how they can actually see all the feedback that other people have given them. I'll show you in a little bit. But before I move on to that, I wanted to show you how the whole company is doing as a team. So I did this is the performance review for last year. And depending on the questions and the scales that we have chosen, I can see that Aaron, who we looked at, and we actually saw that he was at 3.25, I believe, was not doing so well. We can see how he compares to the rest of the team or the department or the whole company. And I can see who are my top performers when it comes to this question and who are my bottom ones, like we saw in the case of Aaron. If I want to see somebody in the particular, I can click into Beth's profile and learn a little bit more about her, what goals she was working on. She can actually see her review in here as well if we've chosen to share that review with her. And we can also look at her goals. So this brings me up to kind of tying the performance to goals. If that's something we have chosen to do, or we can kind of keep it separate and just use them as OKRs, as stretch goals. They don't have to be completely tied to our performance, but it is a key consideration into the total picture. So Beth has 3 goals that she set up: hire 3 new people, work with Ariana to create a standard set of metrics for growth and retention, implement high 5 engagement strategy. She has chosen these are her quarterly goals. This is her current performance right now. How do you add a goal into the system? It's very, very simple. So I can say here, let's say finish performance review cycle. And I can align it to a company goal, such as, here's the one that we've set up: hire, develop, and engage, retain employees. What's my due date? It's this quarter. Is it private? Is it public goal? I can put a little description if I want to, and I can save it. So then the next time, I am closer to this, I can just move my slider to whatever % that I want. Now, you can, those goals together with are also displayed into the person's profile. So if you've set them up as a public goal, other people that want to understand something about you can come in and take a look. They will see, your tenure, your birthday will automatically show up in the system as well, or your anniversary, obviously the birthday without a date. If you've chosen to share that inside, it's not mandatory. Any badges that you've been given as a great employee, if you have any high fives that people have done. And again, you can kind of work on your goals here as well. And then if you've chosen to also do transparent goals, you can list them into the company goal sections. Not all organizations do goals, so it's completely up to you. If it's something that you guys are not doing, it's not necessary to have company goals. Nobody's going to, this will kind of not be seen by anybody. But if you wanted to look at goals and what the company is trying to achieve, you can kind of have a look at here and say, and see what the progress of the company is and the overall accomplishment of the whole company towards those objectives. And then lastly, the last thing that I wanted to touch on is the My Team view. This is a org chart based view. As you can see, we also display org charts automatically in the system, and you can kind of search for people in that respect as well. So if you see here, Ariana has 2 direct reports, which are Sharon and Beth, and Sam reports into Sharon. She also has a view, like I mentioned, My Team, which lists those people underneath each other. So I can see, regardless if I have 50 employees under me or 1 employee, the manager can automatically have one view of everybody that reports into that person, and they're responsible for the performance of that person. So I can come in here same way. I can look at Beth's goals. I can see her tenure. Again, maybe I'm a first-time manager. I'm coming in and I don't know anybody on my team. Any kind of information that I have in order to work and interact with my employees in the fastest way possible is great, because not always, you start, sometimes a new manager comes in and you don't know, okay, does this employee have been here for a while? What are the projects they've been working on? Where can I get this information? If they had a previous performance management review, can I take a look so I can get to know this person better and try to work towards their strengths and kind of minimize their weaknesses? It'd be great information. And managers get up and running so much quicker having that than, spending their first few weeks just trying to get to know who is who on their team and what's been happening for the past, maybe 5 years since they've been working in this organization. So just kind of gives you like a full, place to keep everything, and everything pretty much gets automatically updated for you. So there's not a lot of manual work that needs to happen. So as I mentioned, I can see how Beth is doing on her goals throughout the quarter. We can have our one-on-ones. I can give her feedback. I can set up some management notes. As I mentioned before, I can see also her last review, or if she had more reviews, if she's been here for a while, I can do the same thing that I was showing you with Ryan and see if she's been improving or not improving right here on my screen. I can, save a lot of the information as a CSV if I want to play with it, or as a PDF that if I want to send it to somebody that perhaps does not have access to her because she's not on the team, to her performance review. Or if I think, Beth is an amazing employee, I could potentially, give her some sort of badge and make her feel, special. So she'll get this on, let me see, what did I look right here? It's a helping hand. I can give her a high five, thanks for your amazing job. It's really all kind of integrated into here and makes people want to bring out the best of themselves and be excited about coming to work, knowing they're going to receive open and honest feedback about their work, and that the company cares and it truly cares about its culture, about its people, about how they interact, how they get onboarded, about the whole employee experience in that company. So I think we're right on time with our webinar. Thank you very much for everybody that joined in. We're looking forward to following up with you and perhaps doing another deeper dive demo on some questions or things like that that you may have. With that, enjoy the rest of your weekend and your week, and looking forward to talking to everybody soon. Again, thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.